Hi, it's Scott ROCKFILE back with another podcast review. Going to talk about the 2004 film Creep in its new Blu-Ray edition. It's a 2004 movie, but it didn't get its actual release till 2005. This is the first movie from writer-director Christopher Smith. I've kind of gone backwards from movies like Black Death and Triangle and Severance, and now we're at the beginning of his career. He made a short before this. Julie Baines, a producer, saw that. The other producers got involved because they really like his short film and how passionate he was about stuff, and he really wanted to make Severance and do some other things, but this was right after Dog Soldiers got made, and everybody was looking for a horror movie. He was able to secure Franca Potente. She was coming off Run Lola Run and the first Bourne Identity movie, and it all kind of came together really quickly. It's a very simple, streamlined, hour and 25-minute horror movie that works. So if you don't want to know any more about it, check it out. It's called Creep. It has an amazing performance from Sean Harris. You don't even recognize him in this. He was the bad guy in a couple of Mission Impossible movies. You've seen him in quite a few things, actually. But this was early Sean Harris, and he disappears into the role of the Creep. It was a UK-German production. German producers came on when they got Franca Potente because she was a big German actress who had just scored big with Run Lola Run and made them jump to Hollywood with the first Bourne Identity movie. There's actually a little intro bit that, like a lot of her Christopher Smith movies, he has this intro bit that sometimes relates to something else that happens in the movie. Sometimes we revisit that scene. It's different every time, so that's kind of nice. But there is a scene at the beginning that kind of sets up what you're in for. A couple of workers in the subway, in the sewer. They're cleaning out the sewer. One of them gets attacked and pulled into the darkness. There's a lot of screaming, and then it cuts and the movie starts. Kate is not a real likable person when we first meet her, and she leaves a party. She's a little drunk. Coworkers are hitting on her. I think the title Creep is not just about the creep in the subway. Christopher Smith says he got the idea when he saw American Werewolf in London, the scene in the tube, the subway, the way that was shot and everything. That gave him an idea. Wouldn't it be great to see a whole movie that way? And when they came to him and wanted a horror movie, he had this just ready to go. It's got some interesting cinematography. It has a look to it. This movie looks a lot bigger than the budget would let you think. Went on to make $1.7 million, so it wasn't a big, shocking success, but it works as what it is. It gets a little nasty, as all the Christopher Smith movies do. He doesn't shy away from using some practical horror effects to really drive home some scenes, but other than that, it's a simple story told really well. I think it works because she's not an endearing character in the beginning, but you kind of are rooting for her because she's up against much worse things out there in the world, not just the thing in the subway. I don't want to give anything away. A lot of people haven't seen this movie. Umbrella released this in a recent edition. It's got a nice slipcover that's different than the artwork. It's a limited edition. It says it's region B, and it's not. It's all region. It's got some interesting extras from now and some of the original stuff from back when it was made. You learn a lot about Christopher Smith, kind of how they did things totally practically. They built a couple of the sets so he could film from any direction, so that there was darkness in the corners that the creature could come out of, that kind of thing. There was a lot of forethought. Some of these low-budget horror movies, you think, well, they just kind of came up with an idea and threw it together in a weekend. But no, as a directorial debut, he was actually, super serving a very simple story to make it work the way it does. I think Franca is incredible in the movie. Sean Harris is incredible in the movie. And the other actors like Vaz Blackwood, didn't know who he was, but really good in the film. I think it works for what it is. It is not my favorite Christopher Smith film because the three after this are much more complicated, like Triangle and Black Death even. Much more complicated films, bigger actors, bigger budgets, but if you're looking for a low-budget horror movie that's less than 90 minutes, that moves quickly, that gives you some creep factor, some suspense factor, some terror and all that, well, it works. It actually does work, and I'm glad I have it in the collection. Now that I've digested and fully gotten into the first four movies, he has a couple of newer movies I haven't seen. Might want to check those out. Neither one of them are, I think there's been 3 after these. The last 2 I definitely want to see. One's called Consecration. One's called The Banishing. Both, I think, were UK films, so we didn't really get them over here. They didn't go global or anything like that. But so far, so good on the Christopher Smith. He's kind of become a bigger budget from low-budget roots filmmaker who hasn't hit the highs or lows that Neil Marshall has. So far, I found all of his movies watchable or better. Some are much better, like Triangle is still one of my favorite movies to recently watch, even though it's almost 20 years old now. So check it out if you get a chance. Creep, the 2004-2005 film, is available on some streaming services, and you can get a pretty cheap Blu-ray copy now before it's out of print if you're so inclined. I would once again recommend the Atomic Movie Store. Kyle does a great job with packaging. His prices are lower than most of the other boutique stores like this. I'm able to get some of these things from Australia without having to pay a lot of fees and tariffs or shipping charges. If your order is over $50, he ships for free. He packs like it's made out of glass. I got both Severance and Creep from him in the same package, watched them in the same weekend. Can't wait. I have other packages in the mail from him. More reviews on the way, too. I just finished up my Jack Ryan, so if you haven't checked out, I reviewed all the 5 Jack Ryan movies in 4K. And we've got a lot of interesting things coming up, like I'm going to revisit the first 2 Fantastic Four movies. All that and more coming up on ROCKFILE's podcast. So please like, share, and subscribe, and have a spectacular day.